So don't fight the Treasury on this. The dollar is going to go down more. It's going to stay down. And for people to say it has to bounce back, this is not driven by the market. This is being engineered by the Treasury. Well, what happened in the 1970s? Gold went up 2,700%. And one of your esteemed panelists, Frank Justra, made that point yesterday. So gold's going to go up a lot. It does it in stages. I would expect $4,000 an ounce by the end of this year, 2025, but much higher in the years to come. If you just took the two great, there were no gold bull markets before 1971 because the world was on a gold standard. Gold didn't go up or down. I always tell people, if you want to make money in gold, don't root for a gold standard because you can't make any money. But from 71 to 1980, gold went up about well over 2,000%. From the other bull market, 1999 to 2011, rather, it went up about over 600%. So if you just take a simple average of those two bull markets, you would say that this has two things. This has years to run, and gold doubling is nice. I love it, but it's probably going to go up maybe 5 or 10 times. So you'll see gold in well over $10,000 in the not too distant future.
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Ryan Huggins here, aka Win with Ryan. We have an amazing video for you today. Imagine this right here. You're staring at your screen, watching XRP hover just shy of that breakout line that you've been waiting for. The one analysts are whispering that could flip the script to $4 overnight. But what if the real lock holding it back isn't the charts? It's the invisible chains keeping your holdings sidelined from the DeFi boom exploding right now. It's that nagging gap between fast settling power like XRP and the yield generating playground everyone else is cashing in on, leaving billions in potential sitting dormant while the market races ahead without you. But hold on, right as the clock ticks on this window, Flare Network drops the FXRP today, unlocking XRP as collateral and liquidity fuel for the DeFi apps, which the CFTC just greenlit stablecoins for the United States derivatives collateral, supercharging the whole crypto ecosystem. And with XRP's major trend shift, signal flashing, whales scooping up millions, bull flags forming towards the $5 by October, this isn't just some distant hype. It's the spark that could ignite 40% gains before the week's out. Stick around for the next few minutes. I'm going to be breaking it all down for you, why it matters for your wallet, and the other headlines shaking up the crypto market today. And we will be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news in the financial world today. Flare Network launches FXRP, XRP's major trend shift happening right now, and the CFTC to allow stablecoins as collateral in the United States derivatives market. Plus, we'll be getting a head start on the red folder news that you need to know about coming out tomorrow. And we're going to be jumping into the charts, looking at XRP's most important levels of resistance and support that you need to know about right now. Plus, we are going to be looking at our long-term momentum wave and our short-term momentum wave as well. And so much more in today's video. So if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day doing crypto research, well, that's what we do for you every single day on this channel. So make sure you subscribe today. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below.
Do you love crypto, but are you worried about taxes shrinking your retirement nest egg? Here's the deal. Trading and selling crypto can trigger capital gains taxes, eating into your wealth. A crypto IRA fixes that. Per IRS publication 590B, traditional IRA gains like those from crypto aren't taxed until distributed. That's why we've partnered with iTrust Capital, a leading crypto IRA company in the USA, to sponsor today's video. And they offer institutional grade custody for retail clients that want to set up their crypto IRAs for retirement, leveraging top storage solutions like Fidelity, Wells Fargo, and Coinbase Prime to keep your assets secure. To get started, simply click the link in the description of this video, sign up for free, and fund your account with cash. They also offer 401k rollovers or crypto transfers, and you can trade 24/7 with just 1% transaction fees and no maintenance costs. As always, I'm not a CPA or financial advisor, so consult one for tax advice, and we do earn a commission if you sign up using our link below to fund your crypto IRA account, but that helps support value-based videos like this. And iTrust Capital already has over 200,000 crypto IRA accounts and over $14 billion in transactions, proving they're trusted by smart investors just like you. So click the link below, get started now by funding your account today, and let's create generational wealth together.
But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap, check out the overall health of the crypto market. We are trading at $3.9 trillion total market cap, $156 billion worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. Fear and Greed Index coming in at a 39 into the fear zone. Altcoin season trying to head back into that 75 out of 100. Currently sitting at 72 out of 100. Getting close to that altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance taking a tick to the upside, 57.9. Will we see 56% again? Bitcoin ETF inflow preliminary numbers right now, $13 million worth of inflows today. This week currently sitting at outflows, a net outflow of $459 million. Ethereum's volume today to the downside, minus 8 million, bringing the week's total to outflows of 225 million. Top 6 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at 113,300. Ethereum number 2 at 4153. XRP taking back that number 3 spot at $2.92. Tether at number 4 at $1. BNB maintaining that over $1,000 mark now at $1,018, and Solana wrapping up number 6 at $211. Red folder news you need to know about so far this week has been a little bit lackluster, nothing really volatile going on, but we do know tomorrow final GDP number coming out. We have forecasted at 3.3. If it is higher than 3.3, we should see a nice move to the upside in traditional markets and also crypto markets. Unemployment claim numbers come out tomorrow as well. Forecast at 233,000. This is a very important week on the unemployment numbers because the jobs are really dictating what Fed Chair Powell is talking about and why he is not really going forward with huge leaps on the federal funds rate reduction. Heading over to X, as you saw in the intro, this is peak US dollar in-game sponsored by Ripple. A lot of people think that Ripple is going to be the new currency of the United States. XRP is bigger than you think. It's just a coin. It was created to replace the petrodollar system. Gold will be $10,000 an ounce. Coming up soon, lock TF in from High Vibes Assets. Very bullish posting for XRP. To take a quick look at the Dixie, which is the United States dollar, we have been collapsing to the downside since January. So essentially, we have been dropping since Trump's inauguration to the downside. And that was what that video, there was a longer portion in there. I'm not going to play it all for you because it could get a little long-winded there. But right now, they are reducing the dollar, causing an insane surge in gold. So as you saw, the dollar started dropping back in January. Gold also started flying to the upside in January as well. And if we take a look at digital gold has been surging heavily since September of 2024. It did have this pullback at the beginning of the year, but then surged again. Will it be breaking all-time highs soon as well? And speaking of the Treasury and what they are doing, just in the United States Treasury just bought back $750 million of its own debt. They've been continuously buying its own debt. So diving a little deeper into the debt, when we ask, is it good for the economy? In short, yes, on balance, this is positive for the economy, though the impact of a single $750 million operation is modest, given the United States debt is $36 trillion. I mean, that is a little tiny speck of the debt that we have on board. Treasury buybacks like this are primarily serve two goals. One is cash management and liquidity support, which contribute to the financial stability without significantly altering broader fiscal dynamics. So the buyback is going to enhance market liquidity. It also improves our debt management. It does support the overall financial stability. And empirically, the program's revival since 2024 has correlated with smoother treasury market functioning, even during 2025's tariff and debt limit jitters. For context, the June 2025 $10 billion buyback, which is more realistic when it comes to buying back some debt, was hailed as a tool to counter raising yields without Fed intervention. A $750 million is a routine liquidity tune-up, not a game changer, but it contributes to a healthier financial system that underpins the U.S. economic resilience. And the big talk this week has been about passing the new laws for crypto, and SEC Paul Atkins gives clarity about the Genius Act.
Particularly when it comes to the complexity of crypto market structure. And I want to get your take on that, Mr. Chairman, because the Senate Banking Committee has indicated that the committee is going to delay a vote on market structure legislation until the week of October 20th to give Democrats more time to negotiate. Of course, it looks like the Republicans will need the Democrat support to get this over the finish line. What is your expectation for the crypto market structure? What do you want to see play out once that does pass the finish line?
Well, I'm looking forward to Congress acting on this. I think it's important that we have a market structure bill, and we are actually helping. We were helping with the House, and now we're helping with the Senate as far as technical assistance on questions of securities law and that sort of thing, and gaps that we see that need to be filled. So we're going to continue doing that and provide all sorts of assistance. We're also part of the President's Working Group on Financial Markets that came out with a report here about a month or so ago. And so, we're really stand behind that report. And so we want to see this get over the finish line because the Genius Act, which was enacted by Congress and the President back about a month ago or so, I think was a huge step forward that applied to stable coins. And that's the first time that the United States government and the United States in statutory form, has recognized a digital asset like stablecoins. So I think that was great. And now we need to focus on the market structure aspect so that there is certainty in the marketplace and direction to the SEC and the CFTC to work together. I anticipate joint rulemaking, and so that way we can try to future-proof this sort of these rules and the relationships from some rogue regulator or something in the future.
Yeah.
And how do you like that little smirk there at the end as he said the rogue administrator? You know who he's talking about there. Let me know down in the comments, who is he talking about? And more positive news for XRP and RLUSD and Ripple. We talked about Securitize the other day. Well, here's them confirming what's going to be happening.
Yeah, Carlos. So maybe you can break down this announcement today for us. You guys have rolled this out with Van Eck. Kind of what's the story behind this and why is this important for Securitize?
One of the issues with capital markets is that the rails for the dollars and the rails for the securities are disconnected. So one of the huge advantages of tokenization is that you bring within the same ledger technology tokenized securities and tokenized dollars. So for us being the largest issuer of tokenized securities, we need to partner with the largest issuers of tokenized dollars because that's how we bring the two worlds together and provide liquidity for our assets, which is hugely important to make them, more useful for people on chain. Being able to then compose them better with DeFi that needs liquidation, use them as collateral for trading. In case the collateral needs to get liquidated, you need to exit into stable coins, etc. So, as you know, Ripple, one of the largest companies in the space, launched its own stable coin. I believe it was like 6 months ago or something like that, like pretty recently.
Yep.
It's been pretty remarkable how big it has become so quickly. So obviously Ripple is a company very familiar to us. I don't know if people are aware of it, but they invested in our company in 2018, and we've always been, talking to them. But more recently, I think Ripple has started doing some movements to get closer to our space. They, as you know, launched a custody product. Now they bought a prime broker, and now they launched a stable coin. So that led to the discussions of why don't we use RLUSD as one of the liquidity layers for RWAs, and then the announcement today that we're going to start that with the two tokenized treasury funds that we have, BULL from BlackRock and BULL from Van Eck, where they will have instant on-chain liquidity options into RLUSD.
Flare Network launches FXRP. Now, if you guys remember, for years, they were talking about the Flare airdrop. And a lot of you guys who own XRP also own some Flare because they dropped it into your wallet for free. FXRP is the first live deployment of Flare's F-Asset system, which turns non-smart contract tokens like XRP into over-collateralized assets that can interact with DeFi protocols. XRP holders can mint FXRP, a one-to-one representative of XRP, by depositing collateral through Flare's network of independent agents, enabling the asset to be traded, lent, or supplied as liquidity across Flare-based platforms. The rollout will begin with a cap of 5 million FXRP for the first week, with the limit set to increase gradually, and users can mint FXRP directly or acquire it through decentralized exchanges such as SparkDex, Blaze Swap, or Enosis. Wallets like Luminate and Oxenflow also support FXRP minting, swapping, and bridging. At launch, liquidity pools such as FXRP and USDT Zero on SparkDex, Blaze Swap, and Enosis are targeting annual percentage rates or APRs of up to 50% yield while collateralizing borrowing options are also being introduced. XRP DeFi is awakening. Flare is positioning the FXRP launch as the start of XRP DeFi awakening, while wrapped versions of XRP have existed before. They were custodial and saw limited traction. The difference here is that FXRP is designed to be non-custodial and over-collateralized with on-chain protocol level verification rather than trusting a single custodian. As far as security, Flare said its F-Assets system has undergone audits from firms including Zelic and CoinSpec, supporting by bug bounty programs and 24/7 monitoring by Hypernative. Flare's token, FLR, is currently the 80th largest crypto by market cap with a 1.9 billion and trading at about 3 cents, up roughly 8% in the past 24 hours upon this announcement. Now, as you guys know, we are really big on DeFi. In fact, when you go over to Altcoin Pro University, one of our main things we provide our community is DeFi yield opportunities and information. As you can see, 2 days ago, we have these that were coming out, JLP, USDC on Orca, 50% APR. We found another one at 17% APR, and we're always on the lookout. So this is very exciting because you're a genius for watching this channel. You probably own some XRP. That's why you've come along. Well, now XRP is finally begin to dip its toe into the DeFi yield opportunities through FXRP. And XRP's price definitely had an upside tick today on the announcement as well. But are we ready for a major trend shift with a $4 target? As we have been talking about, there is a symmetrical triangle that has developed for XRP. An upward breakout above the triangle's resistance line of $3 could signal a trend reversal, such as a move that could open the way towards the measured target of $4.08, representing a 42% climb from current levels. Before reaching the targets, bulls will have to overcome resistance from the $3.40 level and, of course, the all-time high of $3.66. Can whale accumulation ignite this XRP rebound? Well, several indicators show that XRP price may continue its uptrend despite possible fears or further losses following Monday's sell-off. Now we're into Tuesday. Things are doing much better. Sentiment's supply distribution metric shows a steady rise in the supply held by entities with 1 million to 10 million tokens. These addresses now own 6.7 billion XRP after scooping up 30 million more tokens on Monday and Tuesday. This actually represents 11% of the total XRP supply. So in other words, most whales did not sell on the drop to $2.70, but instead they accumulated XRP, suggesting they are confident for further price increases. On top of that, we also have the XRP holder net position change from Glassnode. And this chart shows that much XRP accumulation is happening right now between $2.70 and $3, indicating that investors are positioning themselves for upside rather than exiting this market. So let's head over to XRP in the charts and take a look at a couple of things that are important to us. What have we been covering on our technical analysis? Well, we do also have a symmetrical triangle pattern that's been playing out, but I'm actually having a target here of $4.50 plus cents. Now the target gets us all the way to $4.67. When these patterns do start to play out, though, I don't like to get to the extreme tippity top. I like to actually give myself a little bit of space there. But if you go from the most recent swing low to that all-time high, this would be the flagpole on this bull flag, bull pennant chart pattern that has gone on to perform. And then when we attach it to the actual breakout level here, obviously we had a breakout and it came back and it has retested, which is totally fine. That does happen. This resistance line turned support for us, and that was with the candle wick to the downside. You can see that our candle bodies did maintain above our supply and demand zone right here that we've been talking about, 277 to 269. Our next level to the upside that we do need to break above is 302 and 307. Then we can surge up to our next level of 335 and 329. So once we get to 336, then we could really start the surge breakout to our previous all-time high, where we do currently have a candle body close all-time high sitting right here at $3.55. So we need to break this 355 with a candle body close to get us a continuation to the upside. Now, some people are saying that this is over. right? The bull run has come to an end. And if that is the case, and we take a look at our Heikin-Ashi candles here on the daily charts, we're going to be looking for our next level of potential support. And that actually gets us all the way down here. This is the last red candle before that crazy, amazing up move for XRP in the Heikin-Ashi candles. It just absolutely raged to the upside. There was no stopping on the way up. It was just all green candles before the pullback here. So that gives us a support level down here. If this were to happen, I'm not saying it is, but $2.23. And if we want to be a little more aggressive on that, we can switch to the 4-hour candles. And let's go ahead and take a look at where does the 4-hour support levels get us. So we're going to delete this one here. Right now, we can see that there was a lot of chop on the way up, right? But this is our last zone of red before green. So this is going to be our ultimate low support here. Then we have this interference right here on the way up, right here to here. And then we have this one right here as well. Now, this one's touching this one, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that one alone for now. But that gets us an idea of where support levels are on the more macro time scale, because this one that we were just talking about was a short term. This is short term as well. But right now, this level of $2.80 to $2.68 is going to be support. And as you can see, it has been holding exactly correct. So if we switch over to our traditional candles outside of Heikin-Ashi, you can see the bodies of the candles literally hit right here. There was a ton of buyers waiting for prices to get to this level, and it bought to the upside. So when we switch back to the daily candles, the one thing that we have been talking about though is we are on new moon energy. So let's go ahead and turn on the new moon. This is a full moon. This is a new moon. New moon gives us bearish energy, which we did have some dump off literally the day after the new moon hit. Bam, we had that big liquidation day. And what we've been talking about is if we can get a scenario where we can play in this zone here as a consolidation up until this right here, then we get our next leg to the upside. This is when our next full moon will kick off. And if we go back in history, full moon blast off. And what I was telling you guys the other day, historically, on the new moons, it drops. New moons, it drops. New moons, it drops. Well, what's really interesting, and new moon, it kind of went up a little bit here, but it was more of a consolidation. This is what I want right now. This, I would be happy with this. If price just maintains, like this was $2.22 until right about here it was $2.22, and then it took off just 2 or 3 days before the full moon. Well, I went back everywhere to find if there was ever a new moon that we got bullish energy on, like actually this was a full moon rise to the upside. Full moon, rise to the upside, right? Didn't see that until I went all the way back to our initial breakout to the upside. So I had to go all the way back to 2017, and we saw the full moon kick off the surge, consolidation to the new moon, but we still had continuation even through new moon energy. So this was extremely bullish. This was one of those euphoric phases where everything just kept going up. New moon up into the full moon up. Now, what's interesting is if you move into the highs from 2021 as well, which is also our fulcrum point for our weekly spider lines that we've been using, we go back to standard full moon surge, new moon drop, full moon surge, new moon drop. And then we just got bearish, obviously. So for me, ultimately, what I'm looking for to play out right now is a couple of things. Very rarely do we have new moon energy for XRP that we actually surge to the upside. So if we can consolidate here, that is in fact, if we can get up into like the $3 range and really solidify that as a support and then make our way up once this full moon hits, that would be fantastic. Because we have a couple of things when we look at our momentum waves that are not looking great for us. Right here, we have broken below the bullish band. So we are in bearish territory on our long-term momentum wave. That doesn't mean we have to drop in price per se, but I do want to see a consolidation here. And one thing we're seeing on our short-term momentum wave, short-term momentum, the red-green, has flashed all the way down and reset the cycle of 0. It's going to have to return back to 100 again as well to the upside. Short-term momentum, though, it's not quite all the way zeroed out yet. And then what I did not like was the 3-day momentum. Okay, 3-day momentum, short-term momentum had reset to zero, but it was finally starting to make its turn to the upside. And as you know, if short-term momentum starts to run, we need midterm momentum, the white line, to follow it for real bullish energy. So as we see right here, short-term momentum started coming up, white line follows, bullish. Unfortunately, it failed. And on top of the failure, actually our 3-day short-term flipped back to bearish as well, maybe coming all the way back down to zero for another cycle reset. So I'm continuing to watch these long-term, short-term momentum waves. Again, the short-term momentum waves is the shaft trend cycle. The shaft trend cycle, you can look this up on TradingView and use it for yourself. The short-term fast momentum I like to use, length of 10, fast length of 10, slow length of 30. And then for the midterm momentum, it's going to be very similar. It's 30 and 50. So fast is 30, slow is 50. Okay, so that gives you fast momentum and then midterm momentum. And then our long-term momentum wave, which I use the Wolfpack indicator, that one is also the fast length of 10, slow length of 30. And that's what's been giving us the best results when it comes to long-term, short-term momentum. So if we go back, in fact, from the breakout of 55 cents, and we finally started tracking to the upside, that was right as our long-term momentum crossed into bullish territory, and boom, we were off to the races. Maintain bullish, maintain bullish. Oh, look at this. We broke bearish here, so we had some bearish energy. Luckily, we didn't have any gnarly retraces to the downside. It was just a short-lived little W pattern performing out here, actually, because it came down, came to the downside, broke above, W pattern, boom. Now we have new all-time highs. On 3-day, we are still running bullish. On the daily, though, we talked about we have broken back on bearish. Now, based upon today's good news and today's price action to the upside, we are starting to see a curl back up. So this could be really great news for long-term momentum, just a short-lived dip under the zero line and then back to the upside. In fact, we had this happen last time back here when it broke above April 25th, 2025, and then it dipped this was a very slight dip back under, but it rallied significantly from $2.12 all the way up to $2.63. And that was new moon drop, still new moon rise into full moon energy. So that would be our ultimate positive scenario that could happen right now. And the charts are lining up very similar to that. But what we need to happen in order for this to play out, it does need to break back above the 50 exponential moving average and the 30. So that would mean a candle body close above $2.97. Now let's go take a look at our weekly spider line chart here. Turn off the moon phases. So as we can see right now, price has dipped under our green spider line here, which is the $2.92. It tried to surge back through there yesterday. We broke above it. Today's new candle, which just started literally 30 minutes ago, has just started coming out. It's looking a little bearish to kick the day off. We need to see some more bullish momentum. The next level of resistance will be here at 304. And then we have another one at 315. And then we have the one that we need to break above $3.30. And then we get to 345. And then that 355, which was back here 355, which has now turned into 362 because of the price and time angle of that trend line. Now, to the downside, if for some reason we do get bearish here and it continues to break to the downside, we could see a return to this $2.57 spider line. This is on traditional charts, regular candles. Now, when we switch to logarithmic, we can see everything changes. Now our spider line actually becomes this support that we just landed on at $2.78. It was a good bounce exactly off of that level yesterday. The candle moved to the upside. What's really nice about this one, though, is it's a big gap surging us all the way up into a resistance of 358. So in my personal opinion, what I would like to see is just a consolidation here. I don't want to see a fall to the downside. I know some of you guys out there are really excited about a potential pullback into the 230 range so you can accumulate some more. That is totally fine as well. But what we'd like to see is really positive energy coming in, getting us back to $3 or even more before the next full moon, where we can get some real power surging us up. Because remember, October is going to be a very powerful month for XRP because of the fact that all of those ETFs are all going to be getting approved and tons of liquidity can flow into the XRP markets.